And please be live. There we go. Blipple. Hold up. Okay. All right. Thank you, Hulse. I love the adverts too. I need to do more. That's one of my many goals for this season. So we are underway. We are a match Rebellious Scallions, who are coached by a Velociraptor, playing against T-Self's Pantheon Passers. T-Self's Pantheon Passers were in Div 3 last season. They were one of the elves that stuck around. There are only 6 of them, even after going through the Devastational. I think he might have picked up 1. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 loners, so he's got actually 5 players, and he got a star player. Also a wizard, which is invisible here. 3 rerolls on both sides. Fame going to the Dark Elves. Didn't see the Fame roll. And an immediate dub skull out of the gate. Mighty Blow does not do a thing here as protests. Dark Elf. Mighty Blow. Gotta love that. That's a blitzer. Dark Elves do find a stun onto a loner, and with a 3rd knockdown, let's see what the damage is. Absolutely nada, just another stun. And T-Self's got to be okay with that. He's used to being down players, and the fact that he's, so far, another dub skull. Wow. What a turn for a Velociraptor. That's unfortunate. Very rocky start to Season 9 for a Velociraptor. A dub skull back? What are these dice? After making the blitz, the catcher does cut back, get out of the way, and another move out of the way so we can get this Agi 5 Strength 4 Elf of the Gods to pick up that ball. And he goes backwards, and he's trying to pass it back to his team. 3+ pass is not successful. You almost wonder if he was better off holding on to it, although I guess he was at risk of getting surfed by the witch, so that makes sense. But he could have dodged down. I mean, I guess the ball's going to go... Yeah, 3+ isn't that risky. And then you're 100% safe if you get the ball back to that thrower. But regardless, after the failed pass attempt, the Dark Elves can go ahead and use their own Agi 5 piece to pick up the ball and hand it off to a teammate.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much for the follow, Cheezix. I appreciate it. Got the new alerts up and going. Very patriotic alert today for the 4th of July. And just a 1-die block onto the Niggled. Strength 4, 5 Agi Elf, and he is knocked out. I was trying to think of how I want to try to pronounce his name. Ellie. That's good. Ellie Villian. Ellie Villon. Yeah, Ellie Villon. The pro elf. He's pretty crazy. Not too bad. Just catching up to all the games that were played today. I'm going to finish this one that's actually live. I think it's around halftime right now. And then we'll see if I can't catch the other REL 3 matches that have happened today. Quite the exciting start to this season. REL getting jump on things with the holiday. T-Self returning pressure and a lot of based elves. And another 1-die block back. Can't believe how many dub skulls we've seen. And the coaches are still throwing 1-dies, so sticking it out. Going after Moranion. Just gets a push, though. Moranion is a really good star player. I gotta say, the elves have some strong star players. Eldril would have been, you know, equally as menacing, but I think I like Moranion in this case with the wizard. against these Dark Elves that are kind of bashy. A lot of blodge going around, so having the wrestle and the tackle would be very nice. Another stun onto a loner. It'll be a little frustrating getting all these armor breaks and not getting the removals, although I guess at the same time you have to be happy about that catcher getting removed. Oh, it was your former catcher, GJ Raz. Good to know. Well, he's gone on to do great things on this team. And I suspect we're going to see T-Self. Okay, he's going around that way. That is the major advantage that Pro Elves have over Dark Elves, is the movement. And when you've got plus movement, wrestle, tackle like this, oh, that's going to be a reroll. You certainly can chase down the Dark Elves pretty much wherever they go. And if you just do a weak screen like this, you're opening yourself up to an easy 2-die on the ball. And that is recoverable. Again, we're seeing loners just basing up. You can see how T-Self finds himself in possession of so many loners. Nice casual 1-die pow coming out of this loner, and he doesn't attempt the recovery. Just putting diving tackle on the ball and saying, go ahead and try and pick it up. Blitz going after the sacker. Not actually even trying to clear up this ball with 3 elves on it. And again, finding no removal. Nice pow onto the loner. We're going to pick this up in 2 tackle zones with our Agi 5. It is a 3+ pickup. No challenge there. And this, because this Agi 5 witch is on the pitch, I would have really liked the pickup attempt from T-Self. Even if it was in 2 tackle zones there. And the Dark Elves are getting a little bit aggressive. A handoff and a pass play. The ball's not even really that safe. And there's a failed dodge. After the reroll was already used. Both teams down to 1 reroll apiece. Game is going quick, and there's the lightning bolt. Not even going to attempt to go after the strength 4 blodge step piece. I actually kind of like that because of where the ball is positioned. If you wait another turn, there's a good chance that he's going to be able to secure it and be in position to score. But doing it this turn allows you to recover and get pretty much out of their way. Although here's the 1-die sack. He's just going all in this turn, and it's paying off. There's a stun back for T-Self, and he's going to position himself to kind of screen off some of these elves a little bit. I would like him to pick up the ball before he rolls any more dice. Moving those loners doesn't roll dice, so that's true. And this is a solid screen right now. He goes for a 2-die block, which isn't bad either. Gets the ball. How far can he get, though, is the question. Oh, he's going back around the other way. He's not going to use the screen. Huh. Does make the pass, so he's just going to run high deep now. This thrower, it's interesting noting, Sif Muna, holds just about every single record for Season 8 in the REL when it comes to passing. Another dub skull. And that's the last reroll used for a Velociraptor. But because this thrower has a movement bust, Sif Muna, he's got strong arm and accurate. He actually does throw a lot of long bombs. All the other strong arm accurate thrower elves in the league have 6 movement or more, and so they're generally able to move closer, and therefore their passes are shorter distance. Sif Muna also throws a lot. So holding all those statistical records for last season is quite impressive, and we're seeing him get the use of it here. Another elf goes down for T-Self, and now we're starting to see those loners take a little bit of the attrition there. 3 knockouts, still no casualties on either side, and Moranian goes down. But he's doing his job, taking shots. Again, another knockout as the both down result on a 1-die block. All the KOs lined up here, 3 loners. And now the scoring threats come out, although really, I guess their nerve is a steal, so technically either of these guys is a potential scoring threat. But he would have to throw it over a bunch of elves, and the intercept chance is a real threat. Now there is safe throw, which makes it a lot less likely. And he just steps back further out of range of that witch elf. Actually, we're probably looking at a long bomb pass on 3+. He needs to be able to get within 13 squares. He's only got that 5 movement, so Dark Elves are aware of his movement range and are kind of all scattering in that position, both to intercept and to apply pressure. Just the 1 knockout on this side from the Wizard, so down 3 players. The Dark Elves do have a lot of pitch control at this point. And the Witch goes for the Blitzer. Gets a knockout. Oh man, the KO rolls are going to be huge. You really, if you're a T-Self here, you might want to just score next turn just to be sure you get 2 KO rolls. But I might have prioritized going after this catcher instead of the Blitzer. And the reason for that is the catch automatic reroll and the Nerves of Steel. He doesn't even actually mark him because of the Nerves of Steel. And we do see GFIs get made in order to make the pass. The pass is a 2+ though, and happens easy peasy. And because he committed so hard to this Blitzer and didn't leave anyone back, we're actually going to see a stall for another turn out of the Pro Elves. Again, more 1-die blocks. Nothing significant. I'm surprised he actually went for the Blodge one with the loner instead of the lineman with no skills. I mean, really, you're just fishing for a POW on that 2-die block. Here come the Dark Elves, so again, apply pressure to the ball. And I'm going to expect the Mighty Blow Blitz onto this thrower here. Yep, here it comes. If you can take out T-Self's thrower and you get the good chance like this, it's worth a shot. It is only a stun on Sif Muna. But there's still a lot of game left to play, including an offensive drive for the Pro Elves. And if the Pro Elves don't have their, strong arm accurate safe throw thrower, their whole game plan has to change. As it is, T-Self has one really, really practiced and well-rehearsed offensive strategy, and it involves Sif Muna just running deep into his own half and stalling out the clock. But if you don't have that threat, then really you have to see him adapt quite a bit. Tackle doing a thing here after all the rerolls have already been expelled. I believe all 3 rerolls were used on Dub Skulls too, which is just crazy. Dark Elves just don't throw enough dice to warrant that many 2 Dub Skull blocks. We see a little bit of a greedy play, although I guess he does have a reroll. And he does score on turn 7 in order to force that extra KO roll. So the Dark Elves will have a chance to 1 turn. And they do get theirs back. And only 1 Pro Elf comes back, and it's a loner to boot. It is less than ideal if you are T-Self. He's just setting up deep, trying to create tackle zones. Would not be the toughest 1 turn. Movement 8, so this is kind of like your standard Pro Elf. You need 3 pushes. See how he utilizes the witches here in order to get the best frenzy blocks. Does he only have one witch? Oh, blitz, that's useless. Yeah, he has got 2 witches, so probably see the blitz from this one. Yep, there we go. Push to start, just what he wanted to see. There's the first one. Here's the second. This is actually very, very likely looking at a chance to at least make the dodges. And the way he's doing this, he's actually setting himself up to make very few GFIs. Oh no! Another dub skull into an injury, and Ferris Bueller is injured. Wow. The Rebellious Scions are just not wanting to punch elves. That's gotta be really tilt-inducing. Could have considered using a reroll there on that 1 and 9. He was worried about getting the dub skull back in his way. And we do see a couple more KOs come back, but they're only the loners again. 2 out of the 5 players that are actually on this team have been knocked out and are staying out. And that's a lot of team value that is just doing nothing at this point. You just know that Ellie Villon wants to be on the pitch. And T-Self wants him there with that strip ball. But more importantly, the Agi 5 and the Strength 4, just a very, very useful piece. Even though he still doesn't have block or wrestle. Which I know he's been getting crap for not having block or wrestle before getting that strip ball. And when you get stat ups, I guess that makes a little bit more sense to pick the stat up over skill there. But here we are. Short kick onto the line of scrimmage. More than likely this loner's not going to catch it. And if you're the Dark Elves, you might actually want the loner to catch it. Oh. We have a touchback instead, so that's just going to end up in Sif Muna's hands. And Sif Muna will sit deep, as we already discussed. I like the setup coming out of Velociraptor. Keeping the Dark Elves spread. Able to respond to wherever these Pro Elves go. And Mirandian opens up a hole. And goes back to set up an assist. Early blocks with these loners. That'd make me nerve-wracking, not setting up any kind of scoring threat. He might not even try to set up a scoring threat. He is up 1-0, holding the ball. And these loners just making these blocks. I'd be worried about a 1 and 9, but if you're not going to go up the field, I guess it makes sense, and that's all right. You're going to see a foul, possibly? No, so he's not going upfield. He is just going to play this one conservative and safe, let the Dark Elves come to him. The Dark Elves, as we said, are slower, so if they commit too far to one direction or too deep in the one side of the pitch, Pro Elves can escape them. And there we go. Mighty Blow shot from Protest. Does nothing. But he does move up the pitch towards the ball. He's still really not a threat on the ball. It's going to be another turn before he's even really pressuring T-Self. So he has to be careful not to commit too much to that. I think he realizes that himself, and that's why he pulled that witch back. You know, moving up too far to the left there would have been a really strong overcommitment. And really, she wouldn't have been able to respond to anything on this right side of the pitch. Preseason team reviews should be tomorrow. I would have liked to have done them Monday, but Rumblebee was a little sleepy, and he's got family stuff going on today and yesterday, so should be tomorrow night. I've got it planned. my Kislev match is scheduled for Friday, so tomorrow makes the most sense. Unfortunately, it's a preseason recap that's going to be, you know, halfway through week 1. Not how I would have liked to do it. And so T-Self is setting up a screen onto the left side of the pitch. And he's going to throw the ball this turn. Makes the 2+ pass. And actually did respond to the pressure of these blitzers. I'm surprised. And Moranian the Moron gets a loner reroll and does make the GFI. Makes a second too, just to make sure that this is a little bit safer. But man, I just don't know about this play. Yeah, both these elves now are marked and their tackle zones or their assists are gone. This is an easy 1-die blitz, and is this... Yeah, just an easy 1-die blitz here from the Frenzy. Not going that way, going a different route altogether, because she is Agi 5. And she finds the knockdown. I'm going to say punished for this odd choice of a screen and really forcing the ball. Yes, if you go up 2-0, you've got a great commanding position, but unless you're going to get Morked. But I just didn't think he needed to throw the ball that turn. I would much rather he kept the ball deep and threw it the same turn he was going to score, rather than sitting with the ball in the Dark Elves' half of the pitch. Now the Dark Elves are trying to find themselves a little bit of protection on the ball. Well, hello there. Is it Yup Yup? Welcome to the channel. Just a push onto the Witch from Moranian. Disappointing the fans. But we do get the ball down. The Rackle moving up catcher, Ashen Zari. And that's a bad scatter. But he recovers it anyway and makes a GFI. He's got to make another one and not get surfed. And even still, the Dark Elves really, really try. I think there is a surfable play out there, although that got a lot tougher with that knockdown. From the 1-die, again, just chucking these 1-dies. And Johnny the Second is dead. Just a wrestle lineman. We're almost caught up to live. This match might actually still be going on. The only wrestle piece from these Dark Elves it is, so that, well, it isn't a huge loss. It will be felt. And right away the Dark Elves respond. Tired of these loners taking shots, they get their own first casualty of the game. Tackle does a thing, onto the jump up. We're going to see a reroll for sure. We do, and he snakes it. Oof. And Calfendrian is down with the stun. And this is probably going to be the game right there. That snake probably will allow T-Self to go ahead and free his way into the end zone. And just going up 2-0 will put so much pressure on the Dark Elves. Tackle will be used here on the Blodge. And an injury to boot, Louise REL. Gone for the rest of the game. No Appo used. Saving those Appos. Just in case something happens to the Witch, I'm sure. And there we go. A second touchdown for Jivia. Jivia, the catcher, I hope is getting block or wrestle. After seeing how much use and value he's gotten out of Ashen Zara, I would like to see him go down this same path, getting another wrestle dodge piece. But it wouldn't hurt him to have Blodge either. He has 0 Blodge catchers, so it makes a big difference when you have that reliable scoring threat that can stay on their feet with nerves of steel on the Pro Elf team. I've got a season of Pro Elves under my belt, and they're not the sturdiest team, but just take all the development you can get on them as quick as you can. Right now, I believe T-Self is saving up for his second blitzer. Extra reroll for the Dark Elves. Hopefully they're done with their dub sculling blocks, and just immediate scoring threat coming out of the Dark Elves. Deep, deep immediate scoring threat. Setting up for the blitz onto the loner, which has to be careful not to go too far up the field here. Or we're going to just run our other witch down. I don't know how I feel about that. Again, when you're playing an elf-on-elf match, what I really like to see is for you to hold the ball deep and then do the transition play the same turn that you're going to run it into the end zone. Because when you do make the transition play and hold the ball near the enemy elves, it gives them so many opportunities to go ahead and take that ball back from you. Versus if you're just deep in your own half, then those chances don't exist. This is a very, very loose, weak screen. Realistically, if he wanted to, he could chuck a 1-die here and get a gap. Well, we'll see if he does that. He might not do that. But we've been seeing 1-dies thrown all day. Yeah, it looks like the Dark Elves just keep underestimating the movement of these Pro Elves. I mean, very simple 2+ to mark the ball. And yep, here we go, 2-die block. Not respecting the speed of these elves. Back-to-back 1-9s on these catches. But he does make the pickup. Velociraptor is really going to have to recognize, although he doesn't have a lot of Pro Elves left, but he really needs to recognize the capability of his opponent's movement. Against High Elves, it's not going to be as big of a threat, although there are some nasty High Elf catchers. But the Pro Elves are really just a lot faster than these Dark Elves, and they've capitalized it and showed it here today. There we go. We do see the Witch make the pass in our pickup, and she's going to go for the pass for the touchdown. Actually does not go to him. Okay, so it's a pass and the handoff. The dice are safer, but there's more of them. They all succeed. And we're going to see that quick score for the Dark Elves, bringing the game to 2-1, and we are now all caught up with the live environment, so we will see the rest of these turns here, how they play out. What do you think, chat? Are we going to witness a Morka-ine? Do the Dark Elves have what it takes to run this one back, or even get the tie? I think I would be happy with the tie in Velociraptor's shoes here. Or is T-Self going to be able to take this one home? Being able to do more damage with these loners that are just indestructible. Popper's throwing his hat in for the tie. Well, you know what, Popper? I think you've got a good shot. We already saw one blitz in favor of the Pro Elves, so a blitz in favor of the Dark Elves would be fair and balanced. Cheezex, a competitor of this division, cheering on more dead Stat Elves. You're going to have a great shot at one of them. Although he's been on the sideline the entire game, so this is probably the one that you want gone the most, Cheese, and he's not going to be going anywhere. Niggled or not, he just doesn't want to wake up from that KO. No, Chapsu, Blood Bowl is never fair or balanced. What I would like to see from T-Self is just actually punching right up the middle. I don't want him to make a bunch of these loner blocks. Got his blitzer back. And that's a reliable block. Start the turn off with. Another super short kick. Really playing for that blitz. He has kickoff return, which will get him a little bit closer to the action. As soon as he remembers what's happening. Live games. Choosing more of a safety route. And we get nice weather, no blitz today. Should he snake this pickup, though? That is exactly the kind of play that the Dark Elves need to get back in this. And my guess is that we're going to see this guy pick up the ball and hand it off. If he uses the loner for that pickup, I'm going to be surprised. I'd be very unnecessarily greedy. Another scoring threat down the field here. Jivia looking at the hat trick tonight. Already got 2 touchdowns. Could he get a third? Be very easy for either of these players to take this guy down. In fact, I would use the Mighty Blow personally, but we do see him not use the loner. That's wise. Steak Mittens, thank you so much for the host. Welcome, everyone. And we're just going to hang on to the ball with Ash and Zari. Seeing at 61 to 76 SPP, 15 to go. Really confused by what Sif Muna is doing at this point. Setting up kind of a hook and ladder play, possibly. Where he's just going to hand off to Sif Muna and then lob the pass over the Agi 5 elf. Seems like a bad plan. But we are making the loner blocks at the end of our turn, so that's much better than the last drive. Maybe a foul onto this movement up blitzer. I would like that. No. Just another loner scoring threat. You get the sense that T-Self is not above hiring a loner, especially one that gets an MVP and a touchdown per level. We are going to see a Mighty Blow shot onto Jivia. There it goes. Finds the knockdown. Not even an armor break. I am disappointed with that. And Velociraptor is saying, hey, I dare you to score on a loner. And just letting them move free. I like the witch applying pressure up here. I think she's the perfect piece for that. Well, shall I take that back? Either one of these guys would probably have been better for that, but... Yeah, typos and players that don't fit the theme often are immortal. That's true. Just ask Pearl Saber. Dodge, reroll, dodge. Reroll. Diving tackle. It's no longer a lie. Diving tackle does a thing. So we could see a couple of different options. If T-Self really wants to score this turn, and I think he should, we could see... Ooh, actually, you know what? A tie is still a possibility. All it's going to take is just a string of bad dice here. But we have a scoring threat. I was saying, you know, you might just dodge out and make the 2 GFIs, but if any of that, I mean, that's just a lot of dice, and if any of that fails, you'd be in a really bad spot. I like the option of going back and marking the witch, even though it's only a 2+ for her to do anything. Clearing up Moranion with his loner block feels unnecessarily risky, but he could use Moranion to go hit this witch. So maybe that's what he was thinking. No, he's going after this gun. And that's a dub skull on a loner. He's got to use the reroll. It works. Moranion is not a moron in this one instance for this one coach. Anytime I use him, he is. Man, if you are Velociraptor, you feel robbed by that one. You finally have your opponent roll a dub skull after you've rolled so many, and it does not punish you. Now, this rest of this play is still risky as hell. Now with no reroll, a single one, really throw it off. And we're essentially relying on these loners to make the score. Yeah, he stands this piece up, so we're going to go for this loner score. Only other option would be a 2-die block here, which is kind of pointless. He snakes the pass! The ball scatters fairly decently. But the tie is still very much alive. Yeah, the stun was big there, Popper. I agree. On the strength 4 piece, Moranion getting the stun is definitely significant. But what he can do right now is he can easily knock this loner 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, he can knock this loner off the witch entirely. And then he just needs to recover the ball, which I admit is a little bit tricky. Probably use the Agi 5, and then go for a pass. He's got 2 rerolls. But this is definitely still a possible tie. What are we doing with that guy? I mean, it was dodge, so it was still just a 2+2+ with the built-in reroll and all that. But another snake. What are you doing, Brady Cal? The Velociraptor's dice just do not want to play nice. Where was he going? He was probably going after this guy. Or maybe he was going to go in here. Actually, that makes sense. That makes sense. So what he was going to try and do was clear the ball by taking down Sif Muna. and then having that one tackle zone free and clear, then he can move in with this beast. You would have to do the 3+ catch. But man, just another snake. This is not Velociraptor's day. Feel bad. I have been there. Both these teams have chucked a lot of ones. I prefer to see the blitz out of Ashen Zara here. Not risking Moranion. But he goes for the scoring threat, which this knockdown does mean that this game will end in a win for T-Self. Actually, no, I take that back. Witch Elf has jump up. We're still in scoring range. He self-recognizes that and moves Ranian into a better position, making the dodges a little bit tougher, and there is tackle. But still, the play would be to jump up, dodge, GFI. And then you're going to have to pick up with the Witch after something screws up here. Get it to one of these two elves, get it, and then just run it down and chuck it. Knockout onto Protest. No more Mighty Blow shots towards these Pro Elves. The Pro Elves, I've got to say, you know, they got knocked out like crazy in the first half, but they have been putting back the bash onto these Dark Elves in the second half. And we are going for the hat trick on Jivia, provided we can see a dodge, a pickup, and a very, very, very short Q-pass. Q+ pass from Sif Muna. Extra tackle zones around the pickup to give it just a little bit of emotional support. We succeed at the first 2+. We have 2 more 2+s to go, both of which have automatic rerolls. Nothing short of a snake. What are we doing here? Oh, for style points, we went backwards to pad our stats. This is how, boys and girls, you become the #1 statistical thrower in the REL. You pad your stats by running backwards before you make the pass. And really style on your opponents, making them feel worse. In fact, I hope that invited a turn 16 foul out of these Dark Elves. A 3-1 win. All 3 touchdowns are going on to Jivia, who now just jumped up quite a bit in SPP. Up to 25. He's now just 2 touchdowns away from getting another level. And we're seeing some real development out of the Pantheon passers this week 1 match. Going into the victory formation. Pantheon Passers putting all of their actual players, a couple lucky loners, on the back line. And at this point, a 1-turn touchdown does not do anything but develop your team a little bit more. So I might be tempted to go for it on this Witch. Because you've got the Frenzy and you've got enough players, and you saw how easy it was for them to get it if the dice work out. Not hard. It's not easy. I would say it is hard. It's a little bit harder to do it with movement 7 over movement 8. But if you can, it might be worth going for that extra level on the Witch. Velociraptor, though, would rather go for the more reliable one-turn attempt, and maybe he's just wanting to practice it, too. Nothing wrong with that. Coup the trois. Or no, is it cuz the tot? Depends on which language and accent you want to read this in. I think it's trois. Toy. Could be toy. Cuz the toy. I don't know. Regardless, we're going to see this movement up blitzer go for the attempt. And you don't have any recovery. You don't need this many players to do this. Tell you firsthand, you don't need that many. For starters, this guy right here could move. Although, if you're trying to do it well. A one turn and a blitz. Unfortunately, there would not be another kickoff after this one turn. So there will be no attempt at a blitz. It would have to be a riot into a one turn. I see what you're saying. Yeah, you said the riot first. So a riot into a one turn into a blitz. Unfortunately, not the right order of operations. We see a second blitz with the Pantheon passers while they're in their victory formation. I assure you, though, that if you watch this back, Velociraptor, there's a way to do this without having this many players on the front line. Especially since T-Self has bunched all three of these players up. You can do it very differently. But the one die does result in a push. And another dub skull. Oh, it feels bad, man. Another dub skull. Not over that, so you can still make this work. You just have to bring one elf here and one elf here. Nope, nope, don't move him, don't move him. Oh, you moved him. Could have made it work. I will say, and this is just Rebel in general, but across all Blood Bowl coaches I've seen, needs to be some more one-turn practice. One-turning is so useful if you are able to do it. And it's always unlikely. Unless you've got like a stupid gutter runner like Ninja Pirate Assassin. Fails to pick up anyway. God, I can't wait to see the number ones out of Velociraptor. What a rough match for the Rebellious Scions. Pantheon Passers, though, put up a great performance. Lots of SPP gain for them. The 7 armor breaks that they did have all were a bit more damaging. At 35 blocks, 3 casualties, and a kill. So yeah, 7 armor breaks, 4 of them were casualties, including a death. Conversely, 12 armor breaks, getting only 1 casualty. Feels bad for the Dark Elves. SPP gains, though, cuz the tot, the movement up blitzer, got 10 SPP that match. That is significant. Jivia also getting 10 SPP with those 3 touchdowns and a vanity pass. Ash and Zari gets the MVP, and well-deserved, as well as casualty. Or maybe that was 2 passes. Sif Muda with his 3 passes as well. It must have been a casualty. So, looking at these teams, neither one of those guys is close to leveling. We'll peek and see if I can catch the level up for T-Self. We will be getting our blitzer back for the next game. So he had a blitzer missing. He was sitting on 6 players. God, this guy is pretty beat up. Armor bust and a movement bust. But he hangs on to him because of the development. Yeesh. He is back. 80k in the bank. We could see another line elf. Or he could just save up for a 4th thrower. Or 4th catcher, rather. I would like to see the line elf personally. I think loners... When you have that many loners, the odds of them screwing something up and not being able to re-roll it are pretty damn high. So yeah, I would definitely like to see some money spent on a loner, personally. Give him one last refresh. Get the level. No, he didn't. Alright, well that's going to do it for that match. But I think I'm going to go ahead and pick up another match here. So let me put up the welcome screen while I... Nad. No. Wait till the end. Alright, whatever. Switching screens to this screen. We're still not done yet, though. We're going to take a look at another match from Division 3 that has already been played today.